Good evening, everyone. The official clock for the town of Newfane says it's a little after 6 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order. August 5, 2019 Select Board meeting. Has anyone any addition or amendment to the agenda?
I'll save it till the next meeting.
Very well.
Get it on the agenda.
We will then move to approval of the minutes of the July 15th meeting. I think everyone's had copies of them. Had a chance to look them over. I'll entertain a motion on them.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I'll second.
Is there discussion on the motion before us? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the the minutes for July 15th, we say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving then to road business, road foreman, and then the road commissioner. Jay?
The lower section of Sunset Lake Road ditching and culvert replacement has been completed. The narrow cement culvert on Sunset Lake Road has been extended by Renault Brothers, and the culvert has been completed, so that's done also. We were awarded another grants and aid grant for $22,820 for ditching and culverts, and I have a meeting this week with Emily from Wyndham Regional Commission to figure out the highest priority road to work on. We have received the Monroe Bridge signed structure grant agreement back from V-Trans, and we'll be working towards getting that out to bid as soon as we get some stuff from Mark Pickering. The road erosion inventory is covering 700 hydrologically connected segments. They've completed 300 at this point. So just to give you an idea, that's 43 miles of roads that are got to be walked, and they've gotten 18 and a half miles done so far, so there's still got a little ways to go. The roadside mowing is awaiting a part after a breakdown, and they'll be getting back at it. I have a proposal for undercoating all the trucks at the garage. We've always done it ourselves, and we're really not able to get it on with the maybe as heavy as we should to get it to protect them for a year with all the salt. So I talked with the town of Chesterfield to hire people from Swansea to come in, and they do it right at the garage, and they put it on at about 5 times the rate that we're able to, and they said it holds up well for at least a year, maybe even longer. So I thought it might be worth giving it a shot. To do all the trucks, it's $2,230, and if we were to figure out a way to get it on as heavy as they do, the material would cost us $2,000. So it's it doesn't seem like a bad deal. So, and this is using the New Hampshire oil undercoating that we've been using the last few years.
This is me as a new boy in town. Did you have a figure in your budget for undercoating so that we have a net difference?
When we take it, when we buy it, we usually take it out of the repair budget, so yes, we could take it out of that. The underground tanks passed the corrosion testing the other day, so we're good for another 3 years without any issues. The Hunter Brook Road bid still needs to be awarded, which is in that red folder there. And the traffic study is almost complete. They need to redo some in Newfane Village. One of the tubes that went across the road was faulty, so they're going to come back later this week and do that one again. And then we'll have some data to kick around between V-Trans and us and look at the speeds in the different villages. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Anybody any questions on what Jay's given us?
Sunset Lake Road looks really good.
Yes, did a good job.
Okay, do you want us to say yes on the undercoating?
I make a motion to have them undercoated.
I'll second it.
Is there discussion on the motion before us? Hearing none, all in favor of spending $22.30
Yeah.
on undercoating all trucks. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous? Does that include the water truck?
I see better.
Just pick it, just pick it on you. Okay, the next order of
Can I
business,
make a motion to accept the road foreman's and road commissioner's report?
you may, and I thank you. The road commissioner has not yet reported, but
Oh, is he gonna report?
you have anything?
It's all taken care of. We've already gone over it.
Okay,
Can we vote on it though?
Huh?
Can we approve it? Well,
why not?
would you abstain or can you?
I
second?
can't vote.
You
Well, he
and-
can't
you
vote
and I-
on his own report.
So
We
nobody
should
can
table
vote
that
on
till
it.
next time.
Not
No,
people.
you and I can.
Look, 3 makes a quorum.
Yeah, no, I need 3.
All right,
Okay, we'll do that next time.
No big thing.
majority wins. Okay.
The red is.
We have before us, again, bids for work. Make sure we don't have any secrets. For work on Hunter Brook, repair and work will begin sometime after July 1st, which has already come and gone. We have 2 bids. First one on top here is A.S. Clark and Sons. Their bid is $24,800. Lump sum contract. I'm sorry, I made a mistake earlier when I said there were only 2. There are several. Let me go down through. Fitzpatrick Excavating, $9,800. Belco Excavation from Brattleboro, $63,400. MT3 Unlimited LLC from Guilford, $73,175. Again, make sure I'm not missing anything. Thank you.
No, you gotta know.
What is your pleasure?
Make a motion to accept A.S. Clark and Sons.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the bid of A.S. Clark and Sons at the amount of $24,800. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions?
Would you like me to send out a letter?
Yeah, I think a letter to them. Thank you. Anything else for you, Jay?
That's it?
Okay, administrative assistance report, which was in your packet. Has anyone any Commentary, questions, anything for the assistant? Yeah, I have a motion.
Should she read it?
Sorry?
Should she read her report?
If she wishes to read her report, she's
We would love it.
certainly welcome.
Jay and I met with Jason Bourne and Michael LaPointe from Natural Resource Conservative Services on the 22nd of July at 65 Baker Brook Road regarding the repairs funded by the Emergency Watershed Project. There was good communication between all parties. In order to better understand the hydrologics that model the water surface profile of the channel, there was a two-person crew out last week doing field tests on how the rock installation in 2011 is affecting the water surface of the stream. I have not gotten any reports back yet, and it was stated at the visit that it is in all likelihood nothing would be physically done at the site until next spring or early summer because of the timing of the year and needing to do research and study the original plans. I did a follow-up with Sarah Morrissey at Green Lantern regarding the lease payment for Brown Road Solar. We should be getting that very shortly. And there's a meeting scheduled for Thursday this week at 1:30 with David Cotton to proceed with the floor plans for the 3 office spaces. It is a roundtable style with Merle, Melissa, Carol, Doris, and myself, and any board members that would like to attend.
Thank you. Any questions for Juanetta?
I make a motion to.
Just one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
If there's more than 2 board members there, it has to be a warned meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I cannot attend.
Huh?
I cannot attend.
I won't be there. Oh,
Thursday the 8th at 1:30.
very good.
May I have a motion on acceptance of the administrative assistance
I make a
report?
motion to accept it.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right.
Thank you. Moving now to scheduled members of the public, Mr. Castellano from V-Trans. You have the floor, the ceiling, the wall, and the height.
Wow, I'm greatly honored. So I'm here to discuss the replacement of the bridge over Newfane Bridge number 12 over the Arch Brook, where V-Trans is planning on replacing it come spring of 2021. Our construction schedule comes from April 15th through October 15th of 2021. I know I'm greatly premature, a year and a half in advance, but I wanted to make sure that I got the ball rolling on this. As a matter of fact, we're not even going to award the contract until winter of next year. We are going to do a detour, so Depot Road is going to be closed through the duration of that construction season for 6 months. So traffic's going to be routed on Vermont Route 30 or Grimes Hill. So that's our proposed plan at this point. And what we are planning on doing, Town of Newfane owns a parcel that's going to be affected by the project. There are 3 rights that we need to acquire. 2 of them are temporary. One's a utility easement that's temporary, that's 1,357 square feet. Another's a 476 square foot construction easement. The last one is a permanent slope easement, which is 54 square feet. And if you look at your packets, you'll look at 2 different forms. One's a summary evaluation, and the one I want you to actually refer to is the waiver valuation estimate form. It shows you how I came up with the estimate value. I based it on the lister's value, or the lister's assessed value, which that 1.5 acre parcel of land that the town owns is assessed at $16,400. I broke it down by the, how much per acre and then by per square foot. And I rounded up the permanent right to 500, just to be fair and generous to you guys. And each of the temporary rights was $250 a piece, so that came to $500. So the state of Vermont's offering you $1,000 for these rights for the construction. And you can either decide to accept it, discuss it among yourselves, or come up with a counter proposal. If there are any questions, I certainly I'm here to answer.
Accept it.
Sorry?
Make a motion to accept it, no? I mean, it's,
Yeah, I'll second it.
We have a motion for us to accept the proposal. Further discussion. Questions from the public? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else on your billet?
No, nothing else. The only thing is I'm going to need to get the signed option form, and I can return that so we can start the paperwork for processing. I can deal with that with Juanetta
Certainly.
after the meeting,
We could,
because I believe you have the rest of the package.
It's in the correspondence folder upside down.
Perfect, yeah, because I'm going to need to get the original signed, and I've got a notary stamp, and I can go ahead and notarize it for you.
I would hope that maybe we could take care of that and you wouldn't have to worry about later. You know?
Excuse me?
I was gonna say that, maybe we could take care of that right now and you wouldn't have to worry about later. You could be on your horse.
That's fine.
So if I can find it,
It's
You know,
manila envelope.
V-Trans,
Yes, sir.
looks good,
And it should be all paper put
all
together.
stuck together. Okay. Help me a little bit and show me where to sign this thing and we'll be gone.
okay, let me go ahead and come on.
Sure.
I'll make a motion. How do you sign it?
Sure.
Motion's been made that I be permitted to sign on behalf of the board. Is there a second? There is. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? I thank you.
This is the one.
I never would have found it.
That's exactly why I'm here. Okay, and this is Wyndham County, right?
Yes,
Yes.
so far.
Okay. I know there's been a lot of discussion about wanting to join other places.
We have to fight off the advances.
Exactly. You can continue with business. I'll fill this out.
Okay,
and
so,
I'll come back
very
up.
good. Okay. Mr. Meyer, petition to amend the bylaws for green burial. I will interject at this point and say that in my opinion, any approach to the select board on this matter is preliminary. Any petition for amendment of a bylaw must be signed by 5% of the residents and then goes to the planning commission. Planning commission must go through a process that's set out in chapter 117. They have a hearing, a public hearing. Following that public hearing, they decide whether they want to forward their proposal to the select board. At that time, we have a public hearing. And when I say we, the select board has a public hearing, contemplates the results that the information that they have at that point, and goes forward with it. So I think that any petition, any discussion at this point should be to and with the planning commission.
May I respond?
That's being mean, but that's the law.
May I respond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm here and I'm grateful that some other people are also here. As you know, we're coming up on an anniversary date for when this was first proposed. I'm here really for two purposes. Number one, to let everyone know that the overwhelming support for getting natural burial grounds as a conditional use in a resource district. 55 signatures, or 5% of the voting population in the town of Newfane. Right now, 75 people have signed. If you look at the list of signers, it's leaders of the community, town officials, other people whose names you would recognize as people of substance. And what we want to really clarify is it's been a year and nothing has happened. Bob Fisher is here, and I'm glad to see, and Ken Esty is here, and perhaps there could just be a quick discussion as to what is necessary to get this ball rolling, because
You just told him.
I and various members of the community and Attorney Sam Angel have tried to move this process through the Planning Commission, and nothing has happened. So there's just been some frustration. At this point, we would love to thank you for the clarity as to what should be happening now. Moneta has a copy of the letter provided by Sam Angel to the Planning Commission saying, let's proceed. I just want everybody to be on the same page, operate in goodwill, and get some movement on this so it's not continually just hanging in limbo.
Well, thank you for your kind words. At this point, I guess I'd stay just about where I was a few moments ago. I understand frustration on the part of people who have not, as unfortunately I have for a long time, been involved in planning, not knowing which way to turn, where to go, whom to see. However, Chapter 117 has been amended in a lot of ways, but not in that way almost since it was born, let's put it that way. And I don't think that the select board has any choice at this point other than to say sorry. It has to go to the Planning Commission first.
Ken Esty, Chair of the Planning Commission, or at least soon to be Chair of the Planning Commission.
Congratulations, we think.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, that's a question we take off at the end of the meeting. It's just all the various steps for the transition within a Planning Commission, but I think it's fair to say that that's moving forward. Anyway, as a member, of the Planning Commission, it is on our agenda for this Thursday when we have our Planning Commission meeting at 6 o'clock. So the fact that 5% of the residents have to sign off, is there anything now that
Either way.
yeah, now that Michael has put together the petition, does it go to the select board to be signed off on, and then we're notified that that has occurred, and then we can then activate our process? Is that?
No, give me just half of it. The select board does nothing at this point. The petition, if you have it in your hands, if the Planning Commission has it in its hands, the Planning Commission goes forward in whatever manner it feels appropriate. And that could be, yes, we want to hold a hearing, get the public's input, and then decide whether we want to push this up to the select board or not, or we don't want anything to do with it. And that, I think, is where things are at this point. And
Only Bob Fisher here, and only two small items to add to that. One, with the petition being submitted to the Planning Commission, if the Planning Commission wants the town clerk to verify that the 5% threshold is met, the planning commission certainly can do that. So that's step one, just to verify that the petition is a good petition. It sounds like you have more than enough signatures, so I'm assuming the answer to that is correct. And the only other slight change to what you have said is that the planning commission must hold, when it comes in by petition, the planning commission must hold those hearings and move it forward. It's not a matter of if they look at it, they see the petition, say, oh, well, we don't want to do this. They must move it forward pursuant to section 4441 of Title 24. And I can be in touch with the planning commission on that. I didn't come here tonight to talk at all to the underlying issue. It's much more just the procedure. And not having been town attorney last year, I can't speak to why there is the delay, but I agree with the chair that there's nothing at this point that the select board has any involvement with regard to this petition. It's all of the planning commission above.
And I would just reiterate that I'm here only to say, how can we work together to move the thing forward? I'm not really asking anything from the select board, so I'm grateful that both you gentlemen and that appropriate attention is being given in this forum so that we can understand what it is that needs to be done.
Yes.
So, as I'm new to this, and so on, are we obligated? Is there some sort of obligation to accept the petition and then turn it over to the town clerk for verification?
Yes.
Or can we make the assumption that its petition is fine?
From my perspective, I would always want to verify the petitioners that they are legal voters of the town and that the number has been met. And that certification comes from the town clerk. So from the planning commission standpoint, you would accept the petition, obviously subject to verification as to the numbers by the town clerk, and then warn the planning commission's hearings with regard to the issue at hand.
Well, I think, or not, I think, I'm confident that that's what we would do. That's what we would do.
And I'm happy to be in,
Right.
Yes. I'm happy to be in touch with Ken with regard to the process of 4441. And we'll just work right through the process.
Is there any time frame that the town clerk has to verify? I mean, I can pretty much say of the 75 signatures, I've actually screened them, and I think they're 100% good. You can take off 20 and it's still good. So is there a time frame that the town clerk has to come up with?
Without looking at the statute, I'm not exactly sure of the time frame. I would assume that that happens forthwith or immediately.
I like immediately.
I think,
So, I don't think that would take very long comparing that to the voters.
that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, just to address Michael's point, it seems to me that to hold a hearing requires a number of dates and thresholds, and within that threshold, certainly a communication with Carol, saying, we need to have this happen in such a way so that we can fulfill the dates that are required in order to set up a hearing.
Correct.
I appreciate your clarification and education, Counselor. Certainly the first step would be verification. I would be loath to take any petition without verification when it's required. You say you're meeting Thursday evening? At
Yes.
at what time?
6.
I will be at another meeting, and I would have liked to have been able to try to sit in and help out where I could, but better that I not be there and keep my mouth shut so you can't hear me. As I suggested, I don't think there's anything that the select board can or should do at this point. I think it's right back in this planning commission's lap, and certainly with the planning commission moves it forward, we'll give it all the proper consideration.
Well,
Anything else on that for the moment?
I appreciate the attention given to this, and I look forward to an expeditious process henceforth.
Thank you.
Hey, can I say something that may be out of order? I'm a resident of Sunset Lake Road, and I just wanted to say on behalf of residents of Sunset Lake Road that what Jay and his crew have done on that road is not only wonderful, but the courteousness, professionalism, and everything that was done in the conduct of their business is something we all really appreciate. So I'd just like to put that on the record.
Thank you for that. It is on the record.
Thank you very much.
We knew it would be like that. Yes?
So I'm ready for this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I didn't know if you had another order of business. I don't want to interrupt.
Please.
So, I'm gonna kind of go around this way. Excuse me.
No problem.
So I need you to print your name over here and then print, sign, and your title. Okay. I didn't want to make any mistakes. Exactly.
That's the only thing I noticed.
Well, I was
I
filling out all my stuff, and then I was gonna stamp after the stamp. I was waiting on the stamp. I have a stamp too, it's sitting on the table. Yeah, 'cause I said, look, technically
Isn't it
shouldn't.
silly that you have to put the number down?
Oh,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry, quickly. Signature.
Print, signature, and the title. And actually, the options, this gets the process wrong, so you catch you guys check. The warranty deed, that's the one that I really mess up. That gets recorded with the town.
Yes.
So, thank you guys so much, I appreciate
No
it.
problem. Nice to see that
Well,
bridge.
thank you.
Yeah, I wish I could
I'm just glad I
expedite
don't
the
have to drive on that
construction.
road every day.
Yeah. When I saw the photos, I said, really?
Yeah.
Stop this back before we even consider
I think we'll
replacing
send
it.
a copy of this and give it to Carol to verify.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
How are you?
Thank you so
You don't
very
need me
much.
for anything else, I'll put you a couple hours.
Check with the boss. Do we need Bob Fisher for anything else? No, he's the
Temporarily.
best. He's the best. We
All right.
love Bob.
Thanks so
Get
much.
out of your hair.
Thanks
Glad
for-
you're feeling better.
Thanks for coming. And
It's good to see
Okay.
you.
Like you got a lot of sun this weekend.
I had last week off. We demolished a house next door, so it was a lot of outside work.
Good.
Ah,
Go back to the office to
that's right, to rest up.
good stuff. All right.
Good to
Thank
see you,
Good
Bob.
night.
good night.
Moving right along. Now we're up to
We
doors.
can change that. The next person on the schedule is not present, so we will skip to our beloved lister.
Errors
Sorry?
and omissions. I think each of you should have a copy of what I prepared
Yep.
for the errors and omissions. There are three
It's kind of like,
items listed.
looks like that. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't know if you want to discuss any one of them, but the first one, Michael Granger, that was, the new value is the amount that the state appraiser set. And that's good for 3 years. And I don't know if you know that we had a glitch in transferring information from one place to another, and we lost all the information and had to redo all of the 2019 changes. And this got missed. So we corrected that. That is a correction. The other one, Mr. Brisson, he called up and said, I made some changes and you didn't, and my value is just the same, it should be different. And that was another one of those glitch things that didn't get taken care of properly. And the third one is the town of Newfane, the property that the town got through a tax sale didn't get picked up. So there's a tax bill for the town, and I don't think you want to pay that. It's not a lot of money, but.
We may need it.
So the details of it are on those certificates that are attached. And I believe that the only thing that you have to sign is the top one. And then it gets given to the town clerk for her to file with the grand list.
I'm sorry, you said that the only one we need a signature on is the top?
That's correct.
How very nice.
Yeah, well, it's kind of silly to sign all three attached to them. Yeah. And you notice that on our copies, just myself and Dennis didn't sign the top one. Dennis came in, he couldn't wait to get out of here and go to Maine. I don't know what's the matter with him. So he didn't sign that top one, and Frank wasn't in today, so, oh well. They know about it.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I missed it. We need to sign only the top one?
You only need to sign the top.
Thank you. May I have a motion relative to signature certification of the errors and omissions as presented by the chair of the listers?
So moved.
I second.
Is there discussion on the motion before us? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Takes care of you for the evening.
That's it for me.
Thank you, thank you. Unscheduled members of the public. I see and hear no response to the potential for having unscheduled members of the public come forward, so we will move to the next item on the agenda, which is the South Newfane General Store. I have very little but some information on that I could share with you. As you remember, there were some individuals living in the South Newfane store, which has been abandoned for some years. And there was a meeting called with 25 neighbors of the area that expressed their concerns and or support for the situation with the individuals involved. And it came to us at our last meeting. At that meeting, I said I would take a couple of steps to try to get further information, to contact the Vermont State Police, who had already been contacted by others, to see what they knew about the situation and to be able to report back to the board. I have had contact with both Trooper Winjet of the State Police and Sergeant Hughes, his supervisor. In essence and quickly, They are totally up to date on what has been going on. They have met with the individuals, they have talked to them, they have told them to stay out of the building. They have made it quite clear that they're not welcome there. They recommended that the board send a letter to Lisa Murch, the owner, outlining the board's concern. And I have drafted a letter, and I'll read it. There's no reason for me to read it in reality, because I heard from the town treasurer today that a letter sent to Lisa Murch at this same address, certified, came back undeliverable. So if we send a letter, we can spend money on certified mail postage and get it back. However, this is what I had in mind when I was working on this. Dear Ms. Murch, as you may already know, there have recently been instances of people entering and sleeping in your building on the Dover Road in South Newfane. These events have created concern on the part of local residents, and a neighborhood meeting was held a few weeks ago to give attendees an opportunity to learn what others knew and to voice their reactions. The Vermont State Police have been active in this situation, and you may have heard from them. The town of Newfane has no authority to intervene directly in this instance, especially as we, like the state police, have not had a direct complaint from you or your agent. To the best of our knowledge, you do not have anyone acting on your behalf with regard to the property. We are, of course, concerned about problematic activity anywhere in Newfane, and with that in mind, we urge you to have someone take on the responsibility in your absence. Your potential liability for activities on the property would seem to dictate such an action, particularly with unsecured motor fuel tanks and pumps there. Certainly, at a minimum, the building should be made secure. We look forward to hearing from you. My feeling at this point is that we could spend the money and send it out, or we could wait and see if we somehow get a better contact. What's your pleasure?
Wait and see. No sense wasting money.
Okay.
I agree.
You agree? Okay, thank you. But
Thank you for writing a letter, though.
if you have second thoughts, recommendations on this, we can always improve it, no question. Okay, where? Yeah, well, I was just thinking. Any new business? Have you anything for us? Okay, we can come back to new business if anybody feels that. Correspondence, Moore Free Library. Have you all seen the letter from the library? This is something that we probably should bring up again on our next meeting, because the others may be interested in it as well, and we probably should have everybody working on that. In essence, it's an attempt to get more information about the town government out to the public, which I think is a very nice effort on the part of the library. So we'll have that on our agenda for next time. Correspondence. Wyndham County Sheriff. I think all board members got a copy of his letter, and I would think it might serve us well to invite the sheriff to one of our future meetings.
That sounds great.
He can elaborate on his letter, and we can ask him questions as to how he envisions things for us being Newfane. And so that's about as far as I would like to go with it now, unless somebody from the public has a question about anything that was said in the letter. It's lengthy, and I would be willing to read it.
I think he should come and present it
Okay.
to the town.
Okay, we do. But I thought I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like me to send him a letter of invitation?
And it doesn't have to be our next meeting. You could give them a couple of choices for potential dates, if you would. We have an email from Henriette Mantel. I will read it. My voice shouldn't last through that. Dear Newfane Selectboard and Road Commissioner, through the kindness and suggestion and kindness of Angela Sanborn, I'm writing this email because I'm concerned about the stone wall along the road on Cemetery Hill in Newfane. The area of concern is mostly from the bottom of the hill up to the corner. The hill on the edge of the cemetery keeps pushing huge stones down onto the road. The stone wall is collapsing in places, and the hill is starting to wash down, fill up ditches, and next probably override the road. Years ago, my dad and Charlie Marchant rebuilt it, and it lasted a good 50 years, but now it needs help again. Also, if the town plow hits those giant stones, it could be trouble. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help, short of lifting those rocks myself. Thanks for your service to my hometown of Newfane. You're very much appreciated. Henriette Mantel. Thank you.
You're welcome. I happened to be with her by Cemetery Hill and looking at them, and there are a couple spots that are pretty hairy, so if someone just could at least look at it and make a plan of some sort, that would be wonderful.
Thank you. The road commissioner, by nodding his head, has agreed to go look at the situation.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Have you something you'd like to bring forward? That's unusual.
No, I'm just here visiting.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Welcome. Anything else from anyone before we go to pay orders?
The only last thing is I need to have Renetta fill out the W-9. Sorry. You would tell her to do it.
If there is nothing else of a business nature short of our pay orders for the evening, we will move to them.
And do you want me to give this back to Renetta, the package?
I'd lose it.